Hi students, good evening everyone. I hope all are doing well. Welcome to Sri Chaitanya Educational Institutions. Hi Anuj Kumar, good evening. I hope I'm audible. Okay, so as we already know about the score examination, right? Sri Chaitanya Academy is providing a super opportunity for the scholarship examination. The exam will be conducted on September 28 as well as the October 12. The first exam test will be conducting on September 28. So you can see over here, right? 2.5 crores of cash rewards are providing, 350 crores of scholarships are providing, and exciting opportunities, the exciting gadgets as well as the NASA trips. So don't miss this opportunity. If you are, is there anyone not registered yet, just register now. Link will be provided in the description. So let's talk about detail about the score examination. Who is conducting the score examination? Who are eligible for the examination, right? So these are the national level scholarship examination conducted by Sri Chaitanya Educational Institution, right? Sri Chaitanya Academy for the students from grades 3 to 12. Then the format will be online as well as offline. And our goal is to identify and reward the academic talent. I know that you are already waiting for the examination. Only 1 week is remaining there. So let us quickly start our session here. We are going to discuss the session here. I'm repeating again about the timing here. Date of the examination. The first test will be conducting on the September 20th. Just mark in your calendar. September 28th is our examination. And last day to register for the examination is the September 26th. Then the next one is the October 12th test day. Second test. Before October 10, you need to register for the examination. And we know that the exam centers will be depending, date of the exam will be depends on the exam centers. Okay, here in this session, we are going to discuss about the complete revision of the grade 9 chemistry. So we can just go through the exam pattern as well as the syllabus of the chemistry. Syllabus of the grade 9 here. It is the foundation test, as we already know. Exam duration is 120 minutes, right? 120 minutes. And question type is around the multiple choice question. Okay, multiple choice question. So as we already know, right? There will be different subjects will be there. So out of mental ability, you can expect 25 questions. Then for maths, 20 questions. Physics, 15 questions. Chemistry, 15 questions. And biology, 15 questions. The complete syllabus is provided here. We can focus chemistry here. Our 3 chapters, right? Matter in our surroundings. Is matter around us pure, and atoms and molecules are the very important chapter for the score examination in grade 9. So I hope you understand about the syllabus and exam pattern, right? So now let us start about the question over here, the complete mock test, complete revision as well as the mock test for the grade 9 chemistry. Here is the first question. Read the question carefully. Just let me know what is the answer for the question. The question is, what is the physical state of water at 100 degrees Celsius? Hi Anuj Kumar. So can you please give me the answer in the comment box? What is the physical state of water at 100 degrees Celsius? So those who are watching the live, just mark your attendance here by giving me the answers. Option A, are you sure? So option D is the correct answer, right? So we know that at room temperature, for example, at 25 degrees Celsius, right, room temperature, the water will be exist as liquid phase, right? They are liquid at room temperature. Then if you are boiling, right, this 100 degrees Celsius is the boiling point of water. If you start boiling, they will start changes its liquid state to gaseous state, right? So that is why this water is exist as gaseous state at 100 degrees Celsius. Then what about the case of 0 degrees Celsius? What is the physical state of water? Ice, right? So ice is a solid form of water, so they will be exist as a solid state at 0 degrees Celsius. I hope you understand. So option D will be the correct answer. Anuj Kumar, I hope you understand now. Repeating again, depending upon the temperature, they will be exist at different states. At room temperature around 25 degrees Celsius, they will be exist as a liquid state. And at 100 degrees Celsius, they will start boiling, which means they will be changes to vapor phase or the gaseous phase. Then at 0 degrees Celsius, they will be changes to ice form. Ice form is solid form. Then here is our second question. Hi Bharat, good evening. Mercury and bromine are both. We need to identify the physical state of mercury and bromine. Okay, please give me the answers. So mercury we have studied, right? So mercury is the liquid metal, right? They are the liquid metal which is present in the clinical thermometers. Then what about the case of bromine? Bromine is the liquid non-metal, right? Liquid non-metal. So we need to identify the physical state of mercury and bromine, right? Both are liquids at room temperature. Liquids at room temperature, which means option A will be our correct answer. Is there any doubt? Anuj, option A is the correct answer. I hope you understand now. Okay, Bharat. So now we are moving to our next question. Okay, here is our next question from the chapter Atoms and Molecules. There is a small numerical problem. The number of moles of oxygen atoms in 88 gram of carbon dioxide is. Try to solve the problem. We have already studied the number of moles concept, right? It is given as 88 gram of carbon dioxide. So how we can solve the problem? What is our first step to solve the problem? It is 88 gram of carbon dioxide, right? So first we need to identify the number of moles of carbon dioxide present in 88 gram of carbon dioxide, right? So the number of moles of So how we can find out the number of moles? The given mass divided by molecular mass of the compound. So if you have find out the molecular mass of carbon dioxide, as we already know, carbon is having the atomic mass of 12. Then for one oxygen, it is 16. So 12 plus 2 into 16, right? 32 plus 12, that is equal to 44 gram, right? 44 gram is the molecular weight of carbon dioxide. So what I am doing here, 88 gram is present divided by 44, which means 2 is the number of moles of carbon dioxide in 88 gram of carbon dioxide. Did you got the point? So this is about the number of moles of carbon dioxide. What is our question? We need to identify the number of moles of oxygen atoms, right? So in case of 1 mole of carbon dioxide, they are containing 2 oxygen atoms from the formula, right? From 1 mole of carbon dioxide, it is understood that they are containing 2 oxygen atoms. So for 2 moles of carbon dioxide, what is the total number of oxygen atoms? It is equal to, for 2 moles, 2 into 2, that is equal to 4 moles. Is that clear? Which means option C will be the correct answer. Okay, I hope you understand now, right? Now we are moving to our next question. There's a statement type question based on the compound, right? Which statement is true for a compound? So we have studied the pure substance, right? Pure substance can be classified into elements and compounds. So we have already studied the definition that. So we need to identify the true statement regarding the compound, right? Read the options one by one. So what will be the answer? How a compound is formed? It is formed by the fixed proportion of elements chemically combined, right? So which means option C will be the correct answer. A compound is formed by combining the elements by the fixed proportion. So option C is the correct answer. I hope you understand. You need to identify the true statement regarding the compound, right? You need to choose the appropriate answer. So according to the options, option C will be the correct answer here. Now we are moving to our next question. Okay, fifth question, again chapter from the chapter Atoms and Molecules. Atomicity of chlorine and argon is. And one is the halogen and another one is the inert gas. We need to identify the atomicity. So how chlorine is existed, whether it is existed monoatomic or diatomic. If I'm asking about the chlorine molecule, how we can represent, whether it is simply Cl or Cl2. It will be Cl2, right? Okay, it will be Cl2, which means chlorine is diatomic. Then what about the case of argon? Argon is always exist as a monoatomic. So what will be our correct answer? Chlorine is diatomic and argon is monoatomic, right? So which means diatomic and monoatomic. Option A, right? Yes, option A is the correct answer, diatomic and monoatomic. Is there any doubt? Here's our next question. Which of the following statements is true about chemical formula? Read the options one by one, choose the appropriate answer. Option 1 is given here. It shows only the total mass of the compound and shows the simples of elements only, and it shows the simples and the ratio of atoms of elements in the compound, and it shows the total number of moles. Choose the appropriate answer. Okay, is there anyone got the answer as option C? It shows the simples and the ratio of atoms of the elements in the compound, right? For example, if you are seeing the water molecule, it is understood that 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen atom is present. So from that we can identify the symbols as well as the ratio of their atoms, right? This is a formula of a compound, water compound, right? I hope you understand. Here is our next question. So in this chapter, matter around is pure, we have studied the different separation techniques, right? Depending upon the boiling point, melting point and everyone, right? Depending on the physical properties. So here, a method of fractional distillation of air is given. Liquid nitrogen boils at minus 196 degrees Celsius and liquid oxygen at minus 183 degrees Celsius. Which gas will come out first during the process? So what will be the answer? What is the principle behind the fractional distillation? That is our question. So fractional distillation is based on the difference in boiling point, right? Difference in the boiling point. So the one which is having very low boiling point will comes first, right? So which one is having very low boiling point here? Liquid nitrogen or liquid oxygen? Boiling point is given here, right? So option B will be the correct answer, nitrogen. As we are comparing the boiling points of nitrogen and oxygen, you can see that one is 1 minus 196 degrees Celsius, right? Which means nitrogen is having the long boiling point, so that will comes first by the fractional distillation method. So option B will be the correct answer here. Here is the next question. Liquid to gas and gas to liquid changes are called. So these are the physical state conversion, right? If you are taking liquid to gas, you can take the example for the water molecule over here. Yes, option A is the right answer, right? Liquid to gas means they are forming the vapor, so that is the vaporization. And gas to liquid, reverse process, right? Reverse process is the condensation. So option A will be our correct answer, vaporization and condensation. Now here we are moving to the next question. Again, numerical problem from the chapter atoms and molecules. How many molecules are present in 11 gram of carbon dioxide? Try to solve the problem. First, you need to identify the number of moles of 11 gram of carbon dioxide. Yes, option C, right? Option C is the correct answer. How we can solve this? First, we need to identify the number of moles, right? So how we can find out the number of moles here? Number of moles of carbon dioxide is equal to given mass, that is 11 gram, divided by 44 is the molecular weight of carbon dioxide. We have already studied. So 11 by 44, that is equal to 1 by 4, that is equal to 0.25, right? Yes, 1 by 4 is 0.25. Then, what is the number of molecules in 1 mole of substance? It will be Avogadro number, 6.0222 10 to the power 23, right? Then, if you are containing 0.25 moles of carbon dioxide, that will be containing 0.25 into 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 molecules, which means 1.505, right? 1.505 into 10 to the power 23 molecules. Okay, fine. Okay, option C is the correct answer. I think Anuj given the correct answer here. I think we can move to our next question. Here is our next question based on the compound, right? Which of the following correctly represents one molecule of a compound? What will be the answer? We need to identify the one which is giving the idea about one which is giving the idea about the one molecule of a compound. So read the options carefully. This is 2 hydrogen, right? 2 hydrogen. The next one is the H2O, then oxygen and 2 oxygen. You need to identify the compound. So you may have a proper idea about the difference between elements and compounds. Okay, what will be the answer? Yes, Anuj, you are correct. Option B is the correct answer, right? Option B is the correct answer. That is, this is the water compound. So what is the difference between compound and element? In the case of an element, there will be only one type of atoms are present, right? Only one type of atoms are present. One type or one kind of atoms are present. for example, in the case of hydrogen, these are elements, right? Hydrogen contain only hydrogen atoms. Then in oxygen again, they are containing oxygen atoms only. Then what about the case of compound? They will be containing different elements, right? Different elements or atoms. They are composed of different elements, different types of elements. So here you can say water is made up of 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen atom, right? So that's why they consider as a water as a compound. I hope you understand. Now here we are moving to our next question. Which of the following shows a physical change only? We have studied the difference between physical change and the chemical change, right? So what is the difference between physical change and chemical change? So based on the idea, you need to give the answer for the question. And options are provided here: burning of magnesium ribbon, rusting of iron, evaporation of alcohol, and curdling of milk. Okay, are you sure it is option D, Anuj? So according to us, option C is the correct answer, right? So we have already studied in the case of physical change, there is only physical state is changes, right? There is a change in physical state. There is no new substance is formed. But in the case of chemical changes, we have studied, right? New substances are forming and new substances are forming. For example, in the case of burning of magnesium ribbon, rusting of iron, curdling of milk, new substances are forming, right? We have already studied the chemistry behind these reactions. So here, in the case of evaporation of alcohol, there are changes the physical state from liquid to gas, right? So that's why these evaporation of alcohol is considered as a physical change only. Is there any doubt? So option C will be our correct answer. Okay, can we move to the next question? Here is the next question, again numerical problem. The ratio of molecules present in 6.6 gram of carbon dioxide and 3.2 gram of sulfur dioxide is. Try to solve the problem. First you need to identify the number of moles of 6.6 gram of carbon dioxide, then identify the number of moles of 3.2 gram of sulfur dioxide and take the ratio. Then you will get the correct answer here. Okay, option B. Let's see what is the answer. Option C will be our correct answer. Let's see how to solve the problem. So how we can find out the number of moles of carbon dioxide here? Again, given mass divided by the molar mass, right? So number of moles of carbon dioxide is given here. 6.6 divided by, what is the molecular mass of carbon dioxide? We have already seen, right? For 2 questions. Is 44. So you will be getting the answer is around 0.15. Then what about the case of number of moles of sulfur dioxide? So that you need to identify the molecular mass of sulfur dioxide. For sulfur, it is 32. Then for one oxygen atom, it is 16. So 2 into 16, right? 2 into 16. 32 plus 32, that is equal to 64 gram. Then the given mass is equal to 3.2 divided by 64. You will be getting the answer is around 0.05. So this is about the number of moles, right? So we know that the molecules is equal to multiplied by the Avogadro number. So I'm taking Na, Avogadro number. Here again, it is again Avogadro number of Na. If you are taking the ratio of NSO2 is equal to 0.15 divided by 0.05, that is equal to 3, or simply it will be equal to 3 by 1 or 3:1. Is there any doubt? Anuj Kumar, is there any doubt how we can solve the problem? So according to that, our correct answer will be option C. Here is our next question. We need to identify which one of the following is the endothermic change, which means heat is absorbing, right? In which of the following process heat is absorbing. So which one will be the correct answer? Endothermic change, right? Endothermic change means heat is absorbing, absorption of heat. So here is again option C will be the correct answer, melting of wax, right? Okay, what is the confusion here? So we can see, right, condensation of steam means they are releasing the heat. And here is again releasing of heat. Then in deposition again release, right, which means they are the exothermic process. So only one, that is the endothermic process, is the option C, melting of wax. Okay, I hope you understand. Now we are moving to the next question. When a solid changes directly into gas on heating, the process is called. Read the question carefully. This is the physical stage changes from solid to gas, right? Direct solid to gas. Generally, they will be converted to solid to liquid and liquid to gas. But solid to gas, what is the process called? Options are provided here: condensation, sublimation, evaporation, and deposition. So we have studied, right, the process of sublimation, right? Solid will be directly changes to. So option B will be the correct answer, sublimation. Solid will be directly changes to gaseous form, that is a sublimation. So some substances are given the sublimation directly, like iodine, camphor, and so on. So such substances are known as the sublimates, right? Option B is the correct answer, not A. Solid to directly gas change. Here is the next question. The molecular mass of a compound is 98 gram per mole. If 4.9 gram of the compound contains 0.05 mole, how many moles are in 98 gram? This is a very easy question, but you will feel very lengthy question or difficult question. From the question itself, there is an answer. There is an answer. So what will be the answer here? So here is again option B will be the correct answer, right? So we know that in the question itself they have provided the molecular mass of the compound is 98 gram per mole, which means that if you're taking 1 mole of the substance, their mass will be 98 gram. So what is our question? What is the number of moles in 98 gram? Which means 1 mole. I hope you understand. There is no need of any calculations. From the question itself, they are provided the answer. Molecular mass is 98 gram per mole, which means for 1 mole of substance, they are containing 98 gram. So what is the number of moles in the case of 98 gram? That will be 1 mole, which means option B is the correct answer. Okay. Then we can move to our next question. From next question onwards, you can get more than one answers. So you can see in the score examination paper, in the previous papers, you can see out of 15 questions, 10 questions will be single answer question. For the remaining 5 questions, they will be provided the more than one answers. So here is such type of question. We need to identify the multiple answers here. Which of the following are pure substances? So what will be the correct answer here? We need to identify the pure substances, right? Whether it is oxygen gas, copper, metal, air or salt solution. So pure substance means they will be containing only one type of atoms, right? So here in the case of oxygen gas, there is containing only oxygen atoms. Then in the case of copper metal, they are containing only copper atoms, right? Which means option A and B will be the correct answer here as the pure substances. And here is our next question. Which substances will show sublimation on heating at room pressure, at room temperature? So I'm repeating again, these are the multiple answer type question. You can expect more than one answers here. Which of the following substances are undergoing sublimation? So one case is a naphthalene, right? Naphthalene is one of the sublimates. Then ammonium chloride is again undergoing the sublimation. Then camphor, right? So what will be our correct answers? A, B and D are the correct answers for the sublimates. Then here is the next question. Which of these samples contain the same number of oxygen atoms? Read the question carefully. You need to identify the number of oxygen atoms in each of the cases, then identify the one which is having the same number of oxygen atoms. More than one answers will be there. So what about the case of 1 mole of water? So in the case of 1 mole of water, there will be 1 mole of oxygen, right? 1 mole of oxygen is there. Then what about here? 0.5 mole of oxygen gas, right? 0.5 mole of oxygen gas. In case of 1 mole of oxygen gas, there will be 2 atoms, right? Then for 0.5 mole, it will be 0.5 into 2, that is equal to again 1 mole of oxygen gas. Then what about here? 1 mole of carbon dioxide means it will be containing 2 mole of oxygen, right? What about here? It will be 0.5 mole into 3 mole of oxygen. So which are the one having the same number of oxygen atoms? That will be A and B, right? So A and B will be the correct answers here. A is correct and B is also correct. Here is our next question. Which of these factors affect the rate of evaporation? Rate of evaporation. So we have studied, right? The factors affecting the rate of evaporation. A, B and C are the correct answer. We have studied as the surface area increases, what is happening to the evaporation increases, right? Humidity increases means evaporation decreases. Then temperature again directly proportional, right? So these are the 3 factors affecting the rate of evaporation. So A, B and C are the correct answers here. Here is our last question. Which of the following are characteristics of the gas? So we have seen different physical states like solid, liquid and gas, right? So we need to give the characteristics of the gaseous state, whether they are having the definite shape or they are having the indefinite shape or volume. So here again, option A, B and C are the correct answer, right? They are having the indefinite shape, indefinite volume and they are highly compressible. Then if you're asking about the intermolecular forces in the case of gases, there will be very less intermolecular forces, right? But there is a very strong intermolecular forces in the case of solid state. So this last statement is applicable for the solid state. I hope you understand. So option A, B and C are the multiple answers here for the question. So this was the last question from the mock test. I mean complete revision for the grade 9 chemistry here. I hope you understand. And repeating again about the score examination, we have already know about that. And don't miss this opportunity. This will be the, okay, registration will be free at the srijatanyascore.com and dates are remembering here. September 28 and October 12, right? Last date for registering is the September 26. Before 26, you need to register for the examination. Okay, just mark in your calendar. Link will be provided in the description. Those who are not registered, register for the examination now. Okay, that's all from my side for today. All the best for your examination. I hope you guys enjoyed the session. If you really like the session, hit the like button and share the session to your friends also and subscribe our channel for more updates. So, thank you so much all of you. Bye-bye.